Hi, everybody. Hi, Instagram. It is 3 p.m. on Tuesday, so that means it is time for Tap Talks. So, welcome to Tap Talks, where we bring you awesome arts professionals to talk about their paths to creative careers, specifically for a teen audience. Of course, if you are watching this and you are not a teen, it is okay. We welcome you as well. We just really want to share this conversation with all of you so that you can get a little bit of insight to different paths and careers that people have in the arts, see how they got that way, and hopefully answer some questions that you may have. If any point along the way you have a question and it's not one that you've heard, feel free to type it in the comments and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can this afternoon. So again, this is Tap Talks, and if you're thinking, I don't know what TAP is, so TAP, for anybody joining us, stands for Teen Arts Pass. We are a program of the Arts Education Organization, Urban Gateways in Chicago, and through TAP, anyone 13 to 19 can get $5 tickets to performances with our 27 partner organizations all around the Chicago area. Of course, there aren't performances to go see right now, so the TAP team wanted to kind of figure out how to keep things going and the creativity flowing, so we're continuing Tap Talks every Tuesday and Thursday, days that start with T, just like TAP, at 3 p.m., the time that starts with T, here on Instagram Live, hashtag Quarantine Arts Pass. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our very exciting guest for this afternoon. Alyssa Gregory, originally from Northern Virginia, is a Chicago-based performer, choreographer, teaching artist, and arts administrator. She holds a BFA in Dance and Choreography from Virginia Commonwealth University and a Master's of Arts in Performing Arts Administration from Roosevelt University. During her time in Chicago, she's worked with the companies and artists such as the Moving Architects, Joanna Furnans, the Leopold Group, Jenn Freeman, and Erin Kilmurray. Her work has been presented at the Chicago Fringe Festival, Salonathon, the Fly Honey Show, and Ruth Page Center for the Arts. Alyssa teaches dance all around the Chicagoland area and has worked as an associate choreographer for the Fly Honey Show for the past 4 years. She is currently the marketing manager for the dance presenting series at Columbia College Chicago. And she's a proud Slytherin, and I can't pronounce things from Game of Thrones, so I will welcome in Alyssa now so that she can tell us what house she is in, because pop culture for sure.
Hello.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hi. House Targaryen.
Okay, it is a Game of Thrones reference, right?
Oh, it's a Game of Thrones reference.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I got that much. I forgot I was going to ask somebody in my life who would have been able to tell me that before I started reading your bio, and I was like, I forgot, and I don't know how to say that. Okay, so hi, thanks for joining us today, Alyssa.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we've got some questions queued up, mostly informed by our teen council members,
Yes.
and some of the things that we talked to you about in advance of things that you were excited to kind of share. But again, for anybody tuning in, if you want to add any questions in the comments, we will get to those as well. So I read your bio. I read it out loud. Everybody heard me. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do?
Yeah. So I like to think of myself as like I'm a performer. I am an arts administrator, and I'm a teaching artist. Those are like, if I like water myself down, like those are like the bare bones of who I am. I like choreograph here and there. I'm associate choreographer for Fly Honey. But like using the word choreographer is kind of a tricky, I'm like going through a transition with that. But so I do that. And I also, like you said, I'm arts admin. So I'm the marketing manager for the presenting series at Columbia College. And thanks, Rachel. Sorry, I didn't see the comments. Hi, Rachel. That's my friend Rachel. And I also teach dance. So my youngest student is 2, and my oldest is senior in high school.
Awesome. So can you just kind of tell us, just in broad strokes, how you found yourself with all of these different roles? You don't have to like narrow them down, but kind of how you found yourself where you are today?
Yeah, I landed in Chicago because I didn't want to move to New York. And so I always knew I was going to be a performer. So I did that. And as with like any other kind of performer artist, you get old and you're like, what else can I do? Because my body is not like these like 22-year-olds that I'm taking class with. And I'm keeping up, but I'm not, you know, it just takes me a little longer. So then I started thinking about arts admin and like working behind the scenes. And then as I was like investigating that, I kind of realized that there's not that many women of color, honestly, in arts admin. And so I was like, I think I could like bring my chair to this table and like kind of elbow my way in. So that was like kind of how the biggest thing I'm focusing on right now is arts admin and kind of trying to bring more people of color and artists of color into the arts admin world. And I work a lot with independent and small dance companies. So I'm really invested in getting those types of people the shine that they kind of deserve. Like, and no, and like Hubbard Street and Joffrey and this, like, they're all great. They're just bigger companies, and there's some smaller, really beautiful work that's out there that should be seen more.
That's awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions kind of like stemming off of that.
Yeah.
The first would be, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what would you say kind of your personal mission is, or what connects all the work that you do and helps you work towards what you really value?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question. I love that question. My personal goals and values is just to be the visibility of like artists of color, basically. And I think that that's like the root of it. And then like, yeah, I think maybe that's like the best way to answer that. Like, it's short and clean. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So another question that I had is, I think for all of us, we have different reasons for us why we might think that representation and visibility of different populations are important. But for you, why do you feel specifically that women and women of color, what role does, or what importance does visibility and representation in these arts fields have to you?
Yeah. I grew up at a time where I didn't really see myself on the stage, in the backstage, like doing much of anything. It was mostly, white ballerinas and really skinny bodies. And so I teach, and like when I'm teaching, I like to check in with my students about like their mental health and how they're feeling about themselves and what's going on in their, I'm not going to dig too deep, but like what's their personal life. And so like having an advocate that thinks of those things and also brings people along that like look like me, and having those outlets is really important.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit more about that relationship between the arts and mental health, especially for young people, and how you kind of see that those things working together?
Yeah, I feel like now art and mental health is like coming together more than ever, especially with this pandemic situation. But I think for young people, I until I started really teaching like consistently high schoolers, I never honestly, like, I knew that like being a teenager is like so hard, but I think that now more than ever, like being like, it's okay that you're sad today, and just saying that to a student is really important to me, and being like, if you need some space, just let me know, and like having conversations to normalize it. Dancers are, I can speak to mostly about obviously being a dancer, but like dancers, I think, are the most a little bit mentally abused in the arts form. And to me, dancers, like, we will dance full out with and through an injury. We will perform. I've performed with a stomach flu. Like, we go and like above them, and then there's always like another person that's like, I could do that better. So you're always like you're like, I have to keep going, because what if I lose my job or like don't make rehearsal? And so I think for dancers, that mental health aspect is just so incredibly important. And like, the more that we can talk about it and normalize it, the better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are incredibly spot on. I think there's a lot of it in a lot of arts, in a lot of fields, and a lot of things that young people go through. But I know that, I can speak from a shared experience of dance. And it's almost impossible to dance at a high level without you have to be competing against the people that are next to you.
Totally.
and not everything is that cutthroat. Not I always will remember my ballet teacher when I was growing up talked about she was 15 and in a professional ballet company, and someone put glass in her pointe shoes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, to try parts.
Yeah.
And so like I'm fully with you about like how it can be cutthroat and how to balance the beauty and the wonderful things that can come from being a dancer and being in the dance world with those things that can really do harm to a person, and trying to make sure that the dance is a benefit, is an ad for that person and not something that's stripping away who they are.
Yeah, yes, Kara, yes.
But I know. Sorry, I was like, I try not to respond too much because it's really about what you have to say. But I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's real.
It's unnecessarily ruthless. Like, and I think that's also why I'm like, there's plenty of room for everybody, because we can all find those places that make us feel the best. You know, I when I was like 14, I was like, I'm gonna dance with Ailey, and I was like, you know what? That's great. Ailey's valuable. I love them. I will go and see them every year. But like, I like a smaller, more intimate space, and like that's where I feel the best, and like that's where I feel the most respected. So like dancing with the Leopold Group and dancing with Erin and moving, like they all made me feel respected. So like remembering like there are people out there that really actually want you as a person and not just as a body.
That's a really great thing to keep in mind and to share. So thank you for that. So a little bit of a change. Do you have any people you would consider kind of role models in your line of work, be that dance, be that arts administration, whatever that may be? Is there anybody that you would, if the answer is no, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I totally do. I still, my first lyrical contemporary teacher when I was like 11, she's still like my mentor. Her name's Miss Danielle. That's still my like, I call her up when I'm like, I'm feeling like this, and she's like, okay, and she's still teaching and everything, and we have like more shared experiences now, which is really beautiful as I've gotten older and teaching more. And I also like model my class, like the way I approach teaching after her. She was really like amazing at making everybody feel great. And I know that's like such a simple thing to say, but being like, and she could like hone in on the value of you and like pull that out more. So I try, and like she got to know us as like individuals and like spending and like connecting with us, and she knew about our families, and you know, and so when I go into teaching, I try to model that a bit, and making everybody just feel like a human and not just like you're in my class because you're here. And as like a performer, there's so many performers that I'm like, oh, you're so amazing. But I think here in Chicago, my peers, a lot of my peers are like, I'm like fans of. I like yes, and like I like to say like I'm gonna yes and, so like I'm gonna say yes every time Caitlin Webster is like, I'm dancing. I'm like, yes. What's your show? What are you doing? Tell me all about it. You know, and like Kara Brody from Lucky Plush, like every time I see Kara perform, I'm like, this is madness. Like how are more people not like throwing money at you, you know? So those are some of the people that I'm always. And for arts admin, I don't really know, but I like organizations that I'm like deeply like fond of, and that I think like do really well with, like, I'm such a nerd for the Bates Dance Festival and like Jacob's Pillow, and I think that they're really wonderful, and like Fusebox is another festival I think is really wonderful. So those are my top picks off the top of my head.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a big question when you do so many things. Like pick a role model, you do 7 things. And isn't that indicative of people in the arts? I think that's the message to share. You know, when we ask for titles from our guests, how many slashes have to be involved to even get close to sort of exemplifying all of the things that you really truly do. Totally. And it won't even get close to it, truly.
Facts.
Yeah. So going in the time machine, do you have any early arts memories, arts experiences that you think maybe kind of helped pave the way, or maybe are totally unrelated, but you know, when you think about your early exposure to the arts, what kind of comes to mind?
I saw a lot of, I'm from Northern Virginia, so like right outside of DC. So I spent a lot of time at the Kennedy Center coming to see shows. And so I remember seeing I don't know if it was like the farewell or reunion, I don't know, but it was Fosse. And that was like one of my first theater shows that I remember experiencing and being like, wait, all these people just like do this as a job? Like that's their job, is to do those dance steps on stage. So that was really amazing. And like seeing, I mean, Fosse is complicated, but seeing like all of those bodies and everything like that. And then I remember also seeing Aida, the Broadway show at the Kennedy Center. And I remember just being like, this is insane. Like, that's amazing. So a lot of Broadway was my big thing.
Did you ever dabble in theater yourself after that, or did you just straight dance all the time?
They dance all the time, which is like, as you were saying that, I was like, I never even tried. Like, I never even tried to do that. But yeah, I have like a love and respect from it for such an afar that I'm like, that's cool. I don't know if that's for me. I never tried, but yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about who Alyssa was as a teenager and kind of were into arts or otherwise?
Yeah, Alyssa was a nerd. She was a big nerd. I didn't do anything else except dance and write. There was like a time where I thought I was going to be like a journalist, and in college I like changed my major a couple times, but I was dancing. I was about dance. I was writing all the time, like writing short stories all the time, reading a lot. That was pretty much it. And like I watch, as I still do, I watch a lot of TV. Like I just watch a lot of TV.
Okay. Teenage Alyssa's favorite show and right now Alyssa's favorite TV show.
Teenage Alyssa's favorite show was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, love Buff. Love Buff. And right now, oh my God, what's my favorite show right now? I think I'm watching right now Insecure and Killing Eve are back. And so like I'm like really about that right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Right. Any that be a recommendation? Would you count that as a recommendation
Definitely.
for those watching?
Yes. If you like Insecure and Killing Eve are just so good. They're just so good.
Nice. So similarly related, I'm going to jump to how are you spending your time at home these days? What are you doing with your time, and how are the arts involved, or when are you taking a break for your
Yeah. I'm really lucky that both of my jobs I'm able to work from home. So the presenting series obviously is not putting on shows right now, but we just launched our video archives, and like we're trying to figure out like what a season can be, but like things are changing so rapidly. So we're like, I think my director is like making like plan A, B, C, and D and G, like just, we just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm working from home, and I'm also teaching classes from home, but I moved into a new place in July, and everything was like still happening so fast with Fly Honey, and I was in this piece called Search Party. We went to Japan, and like there was so much stuff happening, so I feel like I never really settled into my place. So I finally was like, if I'm going to be in here, I want this place to look cute. So I'm able to kind of nest. So like I got a new desk, I got a new couch, like I'm like putting things on my walls and like rearranging stuff. So that's been really lovely to do. And I got also impulse bought Super Nintendo, and I've been playing Super Mario Brothers 3 so hard, and it's very joyful.
That's amazing. Speaking of teenage Alyssa that we're referencing, I mean, I like slightly before teenage, probably in the whole
yeah. But still,
things, but
loved it.
amazing. Throwing it back. So when you were a teen, what did you think you would be when you grew up, or what did you want to be?
I didn't think that I was going to be a dancer. I was ready I had like two plans for myself. I was either one, going to open up like my own business and be a wedding planner. I was going to go to business school and like do all of that. Two, I was going to be an entertainment journalist. So that's like dance was just like a thing that I like did, and it was a hobby, and I had, you know, my friends. I was lucky that like my friends from like the age of 5 were still, you know, we were friends in dance throughout our whole lives, and um, but like that's just my hobby. I never thought. And then when I was applying for schools, my mom was the one that was like, "Are you sure you don't dance? You've done this for a long time," and so that like that kind of changed things for me.
I'm gonna ask just like a super random either or series, get to know you a little bit better, totally unrelated to things. We ask everybody kind of this random series. So Netflix or Hulu?
Ooh, I I think right now I'm Hulu. I'm Hulu right now. I'm watching Little Fires Everywhere. I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the first time.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet, but I know that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like on my to-do
it's
list.
hilarious. It is. You will enjoy it. It is very good.
I'm very much like a sitcom person, so I know I,
Yes,
yeah.
same.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Deep dish
easy,
or thin crust?
thin crust.
The ability to fly or read minds?
Read minds. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know where. What are we thinking? Where are we?
Nice. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Cake or pie?
Oh no! I. Oh no! Oh, I'm gonna go with pie. I'm gonna go with pie. Yeah.
If you change your answer tomorrow, I'll understand. It's okay.
Okay.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy for sure.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
And last
Yeah.
but not
That changed. It was because teenage Alyssa would have said indoors, but now it's outdoors for sure.
final one, the book or the movie?
The book.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
So did you read all the Harry Potter books and did you read all of the Game of Thrones books?
I did read and have read multiple times the Harry Potter books and seen the movies multiple times. I did not read the Game of Thrones book. I tried. I own the very first one, and it was just too slow and too many words to describe like a single thing. And I was like, I can't do this. And then I tried to listen to it on audiobook, and they picked like the world's oldest man to like read it, and he was like, I just couldn't do it. So I was like, that's just going to be the TV show for me.
That's fair. That's fair. So thank you for humoring me and then random getting to know you either
Of
or
course.
series. One thing, just going back to kind of you and your work, and feel free to choose any of your paths or any of the lanes that you take in the arts, but what's the coolest project or your favorite professional project and or what project you're most proud of that you've worked on? Kind of just
Yeah.
high level overview.
I think the coolest project is like the two projects currently working on is the Fly Honey show and Search Party. Well, I guess Search Party, I don't know if we say Search Party's over. I don't think it's really ever over, but so Search Party is choreographed is by Erin Kilmurray, and like what's really cool about that is Erin got a collective of femme dancers and trans bodies and queer bodies, and we wanted to have the conversation about like politics of the dance floor and politics outside the dance floor, and like how that can intersect, and athleticism, and like so we had so many different iterations and working on it for about 3-4 years. And what was really cool is that to go and take Search Party to Japan in October, this past October. And so we went to Japan and like reset and got to work with these other dancers. And that was really cool to have that exchange of experience. And I think I'm most proud of probably the Fly Honey show. And that to me just makes people just so joyous and happy. The people that are in it and the people that come and see.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
for those of us in the adult arts community in Chicago, the Fly Honey
Yeah.
show is very name recognizable kind of thing. But for teens, can you describe a little bit about what that is if they haven't heard of that before? Can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about Honey Show?
Yeah. The Fly Honey show is a burlesque cabaret inspired homage show. And it plays honorism to like the nightlife culture and the burlesque community. And it is a show that supports body positivity, sex positivity, gender, every gender identity. It started as like a one night experience in like a living room of a loft of the Inconvenience, and now it's like expanded to like a 5-week sold out run at the Denver. But it's just really cool because there's just so many, and then there's so many artists involved. There's a 10-piece band, there's writing, there's music, there's comedy, there's spoken word and dance. It's so inclusive and lovely.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that context.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you kind of two sides of the same question. So first, okay, what message or thought would you want to share with teenage Alyssa?
Okay. Ooh, that's deep. Let's see. I would send her the message. You don't have to figure it all out at the same time. Yeah. And trust your gut about who you are.
That's great. That's fantastic. Yeah. And the other side of that, what message would you right now want to send to future Alyssa?
I would send it to future Alyssa. I would tell her to slow down. And I would tell her to really try to savor it and trust your gut a little bit more.
Fantastic. I have just one question left for you, and then I'll let you kind of go if there's anything else that you wanted to share. But my last question, concrete, and if anybody who's watching right now has any questions they want me to ask Alyssa before we go, feel free to drop those into the comments. But what advice would you want to give any teens who might want to follow a similar career path or explore some of the types of work that you do?
Yeah, I would, my advice, if you're trying to be a performer in Chicago, is show up to shows and show up to class. Especially go and see shows, and like a variety of shows, so you know what you're actually truly interested in and what your interests and values are. Just show up more than anything. And then add to the community, even if it is just purchasing a ticket, like you're keeping your community alive. I think if you're as a teacher, like get to know your students, and no matter what their age is. Like I know about my 3-year-old's like dog, and I know what colleges my seniors are applying to, so invest in your students and also invest in your families. Like talk to the parents and get to know the parents. They're the ones honestly that are paying. So, get to know your parents. And as an illustrator, like I always use the term, like the idea of like reach behind and like pull up the next person with you. So like constantly keep pulling people along. Then your community is like a little richer, and then you have like more voices that can be heard.
That's fantastic. The last thing I'll just say is if there's anything else that you want to share kind of with just teens in general, anything you want to promote or encourage them to check out or do or keep in mind, if there's any lasting wisdom you'd like to share, now's the time.
I would tell teens, like, trust yourself. It's really easy to from what I see with my teens, it's like really easy to kind of go with the flow and like go with what like the herd is like telling you to do and like what society is telling you to do. But like you have to live with yourself, and you have to own your choices and make yourself proud first is also something that I would tell any teen. And I always say it's okay to be sad. I have to keep reminding myself that. And like, if you're feeling sad, it's okay. Other people do, and it's not forever. And if you're an artist and you're a sad artist, you won't always be a sad artist. And if you take care of your mental health too.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. I think there was just some really, really fantastic and wonderful things you shared that would really translate to people in the dance world and in any arts field and just any young person. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of these things about yourself. And, that really could help some future
Yeah,
generations. It really speaks to trying to pull them along and trying to really help instill that confidence that, they are enough and that it's
yeah,
okay to really be who you are. So thank you for those
absolutely.
wonderful, fantastic messages and for being our guest
Yeah,
here today. I'm going to
thanks
kick
for
you out.
having
Yeah. Thank you.
me. Yeah, bye.
Bye. So just to close out the rest of our thing here today, again, this is Tap Talks Teen Arts Pass is a program of Urban Gateways. We will be doing these every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Central on Instagram Live. Thursday, we have a guest, Andrew Thomas, who is a screenwriter, and we will be interviewing him about some of the work that he does. So also just wanted to shout out, check out teenartspass.org. Normally, that's where we point you to go find out what performances are happening that you can go see for $5. Right now, we've created a subpage called Tap at Home. These are all the ways that you can stay engaged, all the things we're hearing from our partner organizations and other organizations that are offering online resources. So this might be from something to watch, a performance to stream live or archive footage. Alyssa mentioned the Dance Center has their video archives. All of these things are things that we're collecting there so that while you're at home, there are still ways to stay engaged. And we're going to continue to populate that and put more information there, including YouTube links to the archives of our TAPtalks. We've been doing these for quite a few weeks now, and so I want to make sure that you guys can check out some of our past guests as well as keep tuning in on Instagram every Tuesday and Thursday. So thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. Thanks again to Alyssa Gregory, and we will see you on Thursday. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the sunshine while it lasts.